Baptist Church on this Lord's Day. We're glad you're here with us this morning. If you're not here in body, you're here with us in spirit, ready to praise the Lord with song and hear some good preaching from God's Word. That's always good medicine for us in this time of need. We all need good medicine, and the best medicine we can probably get is taking God's Word into our hearts and our minds and helping us to be what we ought to be for Him. So let's begin praising the Lord in song. Turn your hymnal to page 39 in our hymnal. This is my Father's world.
This is my Father's world,
And to my listening ears, only footsteps and mountain rings of music on the street.
this is my Father's world. I rest me in the thought of rocks and trees and skies and trees and the wonders wrought. This is my Father's world. The birds their carols raise, the morning light, the lily white, there the Maker's praise. This is my Father's world. He is fair. In the rustling grass I hear Him pass, speaks to me everywhere. This is my Father's world. Oh, let me ne'er forget that though the wrong seems oft so strong, God is a ruler yet. This is my Father's world. The battle is not done. Jesus who died shall be satisfied, and earth and heaven be one.
We'll open in prayer. Brother Dave, you want to do the honors, please?
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this first day of the week. We just thank you that we can be here this morning to share songs of thine and preaching of your presence. We're here to preach you today. Pray that the hiding of our hearts and life to our lives for all of us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right. Continuing on in song, turn the hymnal to page 210. 210, 210, Saved by the Blood. Good Baptist hymn, amen?
Amen.
Saved by the
Oh,
blood.
yeah.
There's no other way to be saved but by the blood of Christ.
Saved by the blood of the crucified one, thou ransom from sin and the new work begun. Sing praise to the Father and praise to the Son. Saved by the blood of the crucified one. Glory, I'm saved. Glory, I'm saved. My sins are all pardoned, my guilt, it's all gone. Glory, I'm saved. Glory, I'm saved. I'm saved by the blood of the crucified one. Saved by the blood of the crucified one. The angels rejoicing because it is done. Out of the Father, joint heir with the Son, saved by the blood of the crucified one. Glory, I'm saved. Glory, I'm saved. My sins are all pardoned, my guilt, it's all gone. Glory, I'm saved. Glory, I'm saved. I'm saved by the blood of the crucified one. Saved by the blood of the crucified one. The Father He spake and His will is done. Great price of my pardon, His own precious Son. Saved by the blood of the crucified one. Glory Glory, I'm saved. Glory, I'm saved. My sins are all pardoned. My guilt, it's all gone. Glory, I'm saved. Glory, I'm saved. I'm saved by the blood of the crucified one. Saved by the blood of the crucified one. All hail to the Father, all hail to the Son, all hail to the Spirit, the great three in one. Saved by the blood of the crucified one. Glory, I'm saved. Glory, I'm saved. My sins are all pardoned. My guilt, it's all gone. Glory, I'm saved. Glory, I'm saved. I'm saved by the blood of the crucified one.
Good old hymn.
Absolutely. Alrighty, today is Sunday the 10th, better known as Mother's Day. Not that every Sunday the 10th is Mother's Day, but Sunday, May 10th this year is Mother's Day. So we just want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We'll have a nice Mother's Day sermon for you and all that. On Mother's Day, we tell moms how great they are.
Yeah.
And on Father's Day, we rip how evil they are. So, but it's apropos because I'm a dad and I know how evil I am, so I need it. And I'm married to my wife, who's my kid's mom, and she's pretty cool. So I say nice things about her for more than one reason. It is self-serving. Don't get me wrong. It's not just because of that, but hey, my favorite question to my wife is, "What's in it for me?" Yeah, there's stuff in it for me on that one too. So, we just glad to be here this morning. Next week we will be. The way I look at it, next week's the 17th. I did the math. I know that for a fact. We're gonna do this at the normal service time at 11 o'clock next week. Anybody and everybody's welcome to come out if you're not really wanting to go, that's fine. We're still going to videotape things, but we are going to open this up. Anybody who wants to be here on Sunday night or Sunday morning, rather at 11, we are going to go ahead and have that. And then we'll do the same thing with Wednesday night too, where we'll be having that also in a short time as well. But we'll start with Sunday morning at 11, and we'll just work our way from there. So everybody will be taping this next week, videoing it, phoning it. I mean, talk about phoning it in. I literally am phoning it in. We're videotaping this on my phone. Videotape, what an old term.
Yeah.
Nobody videotapes anymore. There's no tape anymore. It's all digital. But in any event, so that's Sunday morning at 11. We will be doing the service the normal time. Everybody's welcome to be here. Yeah, but not, that's up to you. We will videotape this as well and put this on our YouTube page. So either way, we'll have that. So happy Mom's Day to all you moms out there. And thank you so much for joining us virtually this morning. And we pray for you. We love you. We send you a little something in the mail. I don't know if you got it yet. If you got it, there you go. If you didn't get it yet, I didn't mean to spoil the surprise. You say. But anyhow, so my wife and I sent you out something the other day, so I don't know. It's about procrastination. I procrastinated getting in the mail, and I probably got it out too late. Oh, it'll be there. Maybe you didn't get it already. So happy Mother's Day. On Father's Day, which I know we will all be together, we're planning on doing something for moms and dads that day, just because every Mother's Day I love giving out a gift to all the moms. Same thing with the dads. Usually with the dads, we give out a little gift card to a place for lunch. Because let's face it, all we want is food. But for moms, we get little cutesy stuff, flowers, that great stuff like that. So, ladies are more into the artsy, the cutesy. Guys, we're practical. Give me a nice, just give me something I can use, and I'm good. My dad always says that if it's not a punch in the face, it's more than you came out ahead. So, hey, that's the way I look at it. So on Father's Day, on June, whatever day that would be, 24th, 31st, June 14th, which is also Flag Day, we'll give everybody a flag. We'll throw everything into one We'll have Memorial Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, and Flag Day. And then Easter too, we did do Easter too, so we'll have Easter eggs that are red, white, and blue. And we'll have a gift that's for moms and dads. And, talk about jokes. There's an old joke where, you know, the Pope was looking for a vice Pope. And, the Pope at the time was John Paul II. He's a Polish guy, very, you know, so you think, well, they like a Polish Pope, like a Polish vice Pope. And so he brought 3 cardinals in and interviewed them to find out, well, who could I get to be a vice Pope? And so he brought one in and he asked him a bunch of questions and he got to the point where he was saying, all right, I want to ask you this one last question, and if you get it right, I'll make you my vice Pope. He goes, what is Christmas? And the cardinal thinks for a second, goes, you know, Christmas is the day that we celebrate our Lord's birth. We celebrate it by painting eggs, and we think about the book and all that, and it just goes on and on. And finally the Pope goes, no, that's Easter. Easter is with the eggs and all that. Christmas is the day the Lord was born, and the wise and I can't use you, get out of here. So he brings the second guy in. He goes, all right, what's Pentecost? And the cardinal thinks about it for a second and goes, well, Pentecost is the day that, well, Americans really like it. They celebrate with fireworks, they have parades for it. It's a great day. And the Pope's like, no, that's the 4th of July. Pentecost is the day the church was born. I know, technically that's not correct, but he goes, no, I can't use you. And finally he brings the other one, and the Pope's getting all nervous. He goes, man, I've already got candidates here. Brings the third one in, he goes, all right, I want you to tell me what Easter is. So the cardinal looks at the Pope and goes, well, it all started on Good Friday when our Lord was crucified, and he was in the grave, and on Sunday morning our Lord arose. The bandages fell off him, the stone rolled away, he walked out of the cave, and if he saw his shadow, there'd be 6 more weeks from spring. Yeah. Oh yeah. And that was the end of that one too. So anyway, there's your Mother's Day joke. How about that? He was Italian, okay? We'll say there were 3 Italian cardinals. There you go. We would do something like that. Save me. Give me one more something. Yes.
All right.
Oh, by the way, that was number 211 on your list.
Okay, folks, that was a private kind of joke.
Yeah, you had to be here earlier. Where were you?
You missed that good joke. That's for another day.
Yeah,
But happy
exactly.
Mother's Day to everybody out there. Do your land. We're glad you're with us for our last hymn, which is sing together. So open your hymnal to page 222, 222 in your hymnal. There is a fountain. This is not serious, so put on your serious face. Wish I could smile as good as Pastor. Now, he looked good out there smiling. I don't know, I just can't, I can't put on a smile and sing at the same time, I guess. I don't know what it is. There is a fountain. It's a great song. There is a fountain filled with blood drawn from Emmanuel's veins, and sinners once beneath that flood lose all their guilty stains, lose all their guilty stains, lose all their guilty stains, and sinners once beneath
died. For this spring stand in the grave. In a nobler, sweeter song, I'll sing thy power to save. I'll sing thy power to save. I'll sing thy power to save. A nobler, sweeter song, I'll sing thy power to save. Amen.
That's amazing, the way you sing that song. Wash all my sins.
Worse, yes. It's like when people say Washington,
Let's
it's,
take out the wash.
yes, it's,
Take out the wash.
it's not Washington, it's Worthington. Absolutely. Worse. Never knew where that R came from. Yeah, it's like Brett Favre's name. It's F-A-R-V-E, but it's pronounced Favre. It's more like Favre or something like that, but it's worse. Where's the R come from? I don't know. Well, it's Mother's Day.
Yes,
And if you're watching this on Mother's Day, that's great. If you're not, well, we're in the middle of Mother's Day, the middle of it, actually the beginning of it. Take your Bible and a very familiar passage from Mother's Day, Proverbs chapter 31. Proverbs chapter 31. There are certain passages when that date or event rolls around, you probably know where you're going. Funerals, it's hard to stay away from John 14. And not because it's a great passage, not because you're just, oh, well, I got nothing else to do. It's just a great passage, you know? Let not your heart be troubled, you know, and going on, and Jesus goes on from there. But yeah, I mean, it's just a good passage to remind us or comfort us at that time that our heart would probably be troubled as you mourn the loss of a loved one. And as you look at the, you know, on Mother's Day, there's several directions you can go in. I've preached on different moms in the Bible, and you can preach on the genealogy of Christ, the 4 moms in there. Just to give you a little clue here, if they're in the genealogy, they have to be a mom. I just figured that out on my own, you know, nothing gets by me. There we go. They would have had to have been a mother. So, they're on there. I remember preaching on, the funny thing, I remember one Mother's Day, when I was actually still at Open Bible. Brother Neeson was gone that weekend. So I preached in the morning, we had a missionary preach in the afternoon, in the evening service. And I preached on the passage of the lady that Elijah went to her. She had one little thing of flour left or oil left. He said, make me a cake, which every time I hear that, something I think about patty cake. You know, Elijah went up to her and said, patty cake, cake first, man. Make me a cake as fast as you can. Roll it in, all that stuff, yeah. Okay, I haven't had a baby for like 30 years, but we still remember that. My oldest just turned 30 the other day, and it's like, wow. But yeah, but he told her bake the cake and all that stuff, and then she had the endless supply after that. I preached that in the morning. That missionary comes in that evening, and honest to goodness, he preached the exact same thing. Which I, was like, look, I preached it first, man. Don't look at me. He wasn't here this morning, so we both got culpability. Our without culpability. I did it first, and he wasn't here, so we didn't plan this. But it was why he almost preached the exact same outline I did. I guess we both read the sword of the Lord that week. But Proverbs 31 is a sermon that talks about the term, the adjective, if you will, that is used here. And I should not take a sip of coffee before I get up here because it makes my mouth water and it drives me nuts. And my notes all look like it just got done raining.
One little cup of water.
Nah, I'm good. This too will come to pass.
Oh, really?
It keeps the mouth lubricated. What can I tell you? I just went ahead and did that there. Sorry about that. Wow, if I had any sense, we would just rewind this and try it over again, but I'm not that dignified. But the word here that goes along here that we've heard used over and over again is a virtuous woman.
Mm-hmm.
As you look at this right here, the verse 10, who can find a virtuous woman? And it's really, it's not, when you look at this passage, It's not used, those of us that, you know, you think of your mom, you think of your wife, you know, even if you've got, you know, daughters that are moms at this time, that, you know, the mom of your grandkids, which, you know, I don't know what that's like, because A, I'm not a mom, and B, I'm not grandkids, so I'm on either end. But you think of all their good qualities that makes them this, you know? Like I said earlier, on Father's Day, you preach on fathers, and this is what you ain't, or this is what you're doing that you need to change. And I believe that, because I'm a dad, and I can take it, I can basically give it to me on Father's Day, because I deserve it. And all dads that are honest will say the same thing, and I need that too, preacher. But with Mother's Day, we have that, mom is always put on a pedestal, up there, and gets her due. And there's a relationship one has with her mom, that there's no other relationship like it, even with your dad. You know, you love your father, you love what your dad, you respect him, all that he's done for you. You know, when you get to be a dad and work and go through everything and look at what and realize my dad went through all that for me, like I'm doing that for my kids. There's a mutual respect that's there. I respect my father for all the work he did, and I know my dad will maybe surprisingly give me respect because he sees what I do for my kids. And so, but with moms, it's a little bit different. Moms, there's that special relationship with mom that you have with no other. Even your dad, even your wife. I mean, you've got a special relationship with your wife, obviously, but mom is mom. I mean, that right there, those three little letters, making up the most precious word you can think of, mom. And on Mother's Day, when you look at Proverbs 31, you're not looking at this and from the standpoint of, you know what, my mom needs to be like this. You look at it from the standpoint, you know what, that's my mom, right there. You think of all the qualities that your mom has, or, you know, like I said, with your wife, you know, with your kids, and you read this, and it's not, boy, I wish my wife was like this, or I wish my mom was like this. You read this and yeah, that's my mom to the T. You know, if you grew up in a good home, if you grew up with a mom that was like this, you think of all this, because let's face it, the ultimate sacrifice, I mean, you agree, you know, you hear this, the saying all the time, your mother went to the jaws of death to deliver you. And it's true, man. I mean, good grief, you know. I went through delivery once with my wife, and to show you how tough it is. I didn't even do it the other 2 times. 3 times my wife gave birth to one of our kids, and I was there for the first one, and I'm thinking, all right, you can handle this, man. I've been there for the first time. I've seen it. I may be here again. And there were 2 other times that my wife, when Kevin was born, I actually went there. He was born on a Thursday. I remember running home to get her at work. I was teaching at the time, drove home, picked her up, brought her back to the hospital. She gave birth to Kevin, and after she was done, I had a basketball game that afternoon. You okay? He okay? Good. I got a game. I got to get going. I was coaching. It was part of my job. I just didn't want to go. I wanted to go to a bowling game or something like that night. I was going to work. I left and went and coached my game. When Casey was born, it was funny. I flew in on a Monday from a job interview in Florida. And boy, I was telling you. And my aunt picked me up from the airport, brought me right to Sisters Hospital, and they didn't let me in because I got there too far ahead. She was already, and so I sat in the waiting room, and I remember it's a Monday because what was on TV? It wasn't football, it was Jew. But I remember my wife and I always argue over what day it was, and I know it was Monday. She was busy. I don't know how she would remember it. I was the one who was actually doing anything. She was busy with something else, so I don't know how she remembered the day. I remember them wheeling her out, and they wouldn't tell me if it was a boy or a girl. I had to wait for her to tell me. My wife said, well, we had a boy, and we already had 2 boys. I really wanted a little girl, and my question to her was, are you sure? I think she would know by now, but yeah, so that's how our 3 kids, so they went through all that, and even in the old days, they'd still be waiting in the waiting room, and they would come out and tell you, it's a boy, it's a girl, there's only 2, it's undetermined, it's dead, and now it's like, all right, pick the one out of 23 you want. There's only 2, boy and girl, that's it. That's the way it starts, and that's the way it ends, and that's the way it is all between. You have a boy or you have a girl, and that boy is a boy regardless of what you do, whatever he does physically. Same thing with a girl. It's always a girl. It's the genetics, not everything else. You don't change genetics. You can change the appearance, but that's still a boy. That's still a girl. But I digress. So anyhow, so you look at Proverbs 31 right here, and you look at what's written, and again, this is all a reminder of who Mom was. And that's what you have right here. This was written, Proverbs was written by Solomon, but right here, and he's sort of borrowing something. Again, this is all an inspiration of the Holy Spirit. This is the word of God here we're using. The words of a king by the name of Lemuel, however you want to pronounce it. He's not here to correct me. If he was, I go by it. But Lemuel, and he's writing about a virtuous woman, and talking about talking about his mom and a virtuous woman in general. And so it's funny because throughout the most of the book, Paul, I always do that. I'll just bring somebody up out of nowhere. I don't know why. You come out, I always bring Paul up. What Paul has to do with this, I have no clue. Solomon, I mean, what Paul got to do with this? I don't know. Solomon, on the other hand, gives all these warnings about, you have the contentious woman. It's better to dwell in the corner of a roof than with a brawling and contentious woman. That is true, by the way. Yes, that's Bible, brother. Yes, it's better to dwell on the corner of a rooftop than with a contentious woman. The strange woman, basically the harlot. Paul, there you go again. Solomon warns about the strange woman. So all throughout the way, and these are examples. They're not, he's talking literally, but he's using that as a figure of something else. When Solomon gets to chapter 31, he goes ahead and he talks about, all right, I've already talked about the contentious woman, we talked about a strange woman, and that's in that sense, so we know a lot of strange women, but not like that. But now we're looking at the virtuous woman. I've given you, over the course of 30 chapters, all these things about that. Now let's talk about a virtuous woman. Let's end the book rather, talking about a virtuous woman. No, he takes these words about Lemuel, from Lemuel, and applies them or uses them here to talk about a virtuous woman. And the context that you get, and bottom line is this, is that when you look at the strange woman or even the contentious woman, you're looking at a house with no harmony, with no peace in it. If mom and dad are going at it all the time, that ain't a very peaceful place. No family, no husband, no marriage, I'll get it right, is free of contention. You're always going to have times where, there's going to be the butting of heads, Dad wants one way, thinks one way, mom thinks, and that's fine, that's healthy, there's no problem with that. There's nothing wrong with both of them have a mind, and both might have difference in opinions. And there might be an instance of contention, and that happens. What are you going to do, I remember there was a famous preacher who said, in all my years of marriage, the word divorce never came up. Murder a few times, but never divorce. And so, so it's like that. I mean, you just look at it, this is just part of the process, if you will. The word of the day here in Buffalo, the process. This is just part of the process, where you might have that. But the bottom line is, there's having contention and being contentious. Contention, or having contention, is having that disagreement, which we all have, no matter what it is. No matter whether it's somebody that works for you, or you work for somebody, you have a different opinion. I have people that work for me that at times will have a different opinion than I have. That's fine. I mean, it's respectfully discussed and that whatnot. Same thing with my boss. I have a problem with something she said. I will have a discussion with her, and if she tells me that's the way I want it done, that's the way you do it without complaining or anything, they sign the checks, that's good enough for me. There might be a point of contention at times But there are people that just have to, if you say it's black, no, it's white. If you say it's, it's dark, they say it's light. If you say it's sunny out, they say no, it's gonna rain. I mean, there's always that point of contention there where they're always looking for a disagreement. And that's the contentious woman who's always looking for some way just of getting her own thing, or his own thing. Man can be contentious too, for crying out loud. But when it comes down to a virtuous woman, there's all these traits here that Lemuel or Solomon via Lemuel or Lemuel via Solomon will give here. And as you read them again, like I said earlier, as you read them, you are thinking of good points of the moms that are in your life, whether it's your mom, whether it's your wife, like I said, whether it's your daughter who's got kids, whatever the case might be, or your daughters-in-law. I know some of us only have boys, and some of you have daughters-in-law. I have 3 boys, ain't got no daughters-in-law. Ain't got nothing, man. But what are you gonna do? So you think of their qualities, and as you read right here, in verse 10, it says, who can find a virtuous woman? It's hard to find one. As a matter of fact, in these days, it's harder and harder to find. There's a problem that the world has with the biblical definition of a man, with the biblical definition of a woman, with the biblical definition of a family, with the biblical definition of the home. There's a point of contention there for word of the day. I am getting paid for these word contention today, thank you very much. There's a point of contention that the world has with all this. They will mock the biblical, biblical view of what a family is. A family could be anything. Family. One of the great hymns of the faith from Barney. My son watches Barney all the time. There's one good thing out of this has come. I haven't seen Barney in weeks. Yes, we're going good on that one. But a family is a song about the family. And then we're going to watch these shows because these shows will sneak into liberal ideas. And my kids don't that, but some kids will watch this and think, well, that's normal. Family could be anything. And yeah, there are families that you might be missing one parent due to death or what have you. But we do not have the right. We don't redefine family. God defined it. He's the only one that can redefine it. I don't think he's going to. The same thing with the husband or with a man. Manhood today is so much under attack. Where if you're a man, that it's toxic, it's vehement, it's patriarchal. All these great terms that come out right now, looking at if you were a real man. It's funny, we're taking men and dragging them back towards, Leda, and then we're tracking that and bringing that, and we're trying. I remember years ago hearing a sermon by a preacher, that was back in the early 80s, on the unisex movement. And if you heard this in 1982, you're thinking, okay, well, that's true. You look at it today, we basically blurred the line on everything. We've gotten rid of what a true lady is, we've got rid of what a true man is, and we've blurred everything to where now the biblical definition not only is not looked upon, it's mocked. It's the family. The idea of a lady being at home working with her. Well, that's just the old way of doing it. We don't want to go back to the 1950s. As if the 1950s were the only time this happened. No, it happened from the 1950s forward. We're just going ahead and use that in a mocking way. And so, as a world is all cattywampus in their definition of what a lady is, or what a woman is, or what a mom is, or what a family is, or what marriage is, I would just rather stick to the Bible and what the Bible has to say. And it's funny, when I mentioned this Wednesday, if you didn't hear me, you can hear it on tape, about how in a society, when you get away from God, what the natural consequences. Because let's face it, the family is the solid foundation of any society. Society. The church and government exist, and the family makes up a strong church. The family unit makes up a strong society. Government is there, a society is made up of a strong family unit. Which, by the way, if you look, we've gotten rid of the family unit and went away from that. You see how our society has turned out, or is turning out. But when you look at what the Bible says, and what God's definition of all this is, you'll see that there's a striking difference between what God says and what the world says. Or between what the Lord expects and what the world expects and what the world says. And so Proverbs 31 is a great example here. A virtuous woman has always been hard to find. And Solomon talks, and I said Solomon, I didn't say Paul that time. Solomon talks all the time about the contentious woman or the strange woman. Well, we get to this last chapter here, and we see what exactly makes up a virtuous woman. Of course, the root word of virtuous is the word virtue. A woman full of virtue. So as you look at this, there's a good checklist, if you will, that is given here in Proverbs 31, and this is not gonna lie, I got this from somewhere else. I'm not preaching now, I'm telling you the truth. In Proverbs 31, about what a virtuous woman does. Look, if you will, in verse 11. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. By the way, I love that right there. And let me just take a 30-second time out. I mean, we haven't seen basketball in a while, so I'll take a 30-second time out. I love the wording right there, and how he puts it. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need to spoil. In other words, he doesn't need anything else. If he has a woman he can trust, he's got everything he needs. He's got everything. He's ahead of it. Like I said earlier, which is very true, if it's not a punch, if I get more than a punch in the face, I come out ahead. If you've got a woman that you trust, a wife that you trust, you come out ahead. What do you need? What more do you need? There are knuckleheads out there that will have a good wife, that will have a virtuous woman for a wife, and he still gets his eyes looking elsewhere. And if that's you, shame on you. That's not the way it's supposed to be. If you've got a woman that you would trust for a wife, you got what you need. Why would you have to go looking elsewhere? Why do you think that you're lacking? You know, why do you think you have got what you need? Why in the world do you think you've got more? You've got, there are things that exist. If you have them, you have what you need. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. The first question here for a virtuous woman is she trustworthy? Can you trust her? There are people that, I grew up on the mantra, never trust anybody. And it's just the cynical way of looking at life, I guess. And again, it's Mother's Day, and I'm giving you maxims from my father all day. But yeah, never trust anybody. But it's true, man. I'm telling you. That's my dad told me, son, you trust me? Well, of course I do. No, you're dumb. Don't trust me. And he told me not to trust him. I'm like, come on, wow. Yeah, that's the way it was. But can you trust her to get something done? There are, when you go to work, and we're not at home. I mean, in the traditional family unit, and if mom is home all day, you just know things are going to get done. I trust they're going to get done. I trust there's going to be laundry in the dresser, or clothes hanging up. I trust the house is going to be clean. I trust the kids are going to be taken care of. I trust the dinner is going to be on the table unless you have bad days and want people to pick something up, which is fine. We did that for Mother's Day yesterday. Never ask your wife, what do you want for dinner? Yesterday was miserable out. I was going to grill yesterday and then today buy your dinner. But then it's like, well, it's miserable today. How about I grill tomorrow and buy you dinner today? So Ford, what do you want to go to? And there's one place on earth that she says, I want this, that makes me cringe. Arby's. And that's what she wanted. I want Arby's. Oh, I don't even know. That's not roast beef. I don't even know what that is. There are pets missing in the area of Arby's, and you wonder. They talk about Chinese restaurant. No, that Arby's is what you wonder. That's not it. I don't know what that is. We've got the meat. I don't even know what kind of meat it is, but I'll take your word for it. We got the meat. And I have a missing dog, so I guess I put two of them together. And that happens. But anyhow, I had to go get Arby's last night. They're expensive too, man. Good grief. McDonald's is getting expensive. $20 for dinner for it's like good grief, man. Jesus. Whatever happened to fast food that was cheap? Now it's fast food. It ain't that fast and it ain't that cheap. It used to be even the breakfast is getting that way. It used to be $4 or $5 to get lunch real quick from the dollar menu. Now, hey, you grew them. But anyways, I digress. But you trust her to get everything done. There's just that trust there. Is she trustworthy? Yeah, I agree that people need to gain your trust. It's better to, and I hate to be cynical, it's better not to trust somebody and have gain your trust than trust somebody and lose their trust. But with a wife that is trustworthy, knowing that she is just going to do what she's going to do, and it works both ways. You trust her and she trusts you. She trusts that you're going to do your job as a husband, and you trust that she's going to be the mom and wife that she should be. Look, if you will, in verse 13. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh diligently with her hands. She's like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from far to farm. She riseth also while it's at night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth the field, and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hand she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good, her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. This is one thing we can think of. Number one, you trust her. Number two, she's a hard worker. She's a hard worker. The things that, for anybody, and this is one of the big things you hear today, oh, you're just a mom. You don't work anywhere. You just stay home. There are so many jobs that a mom has to do that I remember, and this is along the same time, a few weeks ago, the former mayor of New York making fun of farmers. Well, they're just farmers. What do they know? And farmers know a lot more than you're. There's a lot of things you have to know as a farmer to be a good farmer. You just don't go seed in the ground and boom, you got food. Don't work that way. It's a lot of work. I'm trying to fix a little bit of my lawn this week, and it's driving me nuts. I can imagine that's your living. Going out there and doing this stuff all the time. 40 hours a week, how many hours a week? It's that, well, mom's the same way. As people, people that go to a job, and again, that's, your own personal decision whether or not you work. But moms that stay home have so many duties and tasks that they have that, they're always, and the funny thing is, and going along with this, as they do this, and that's point two on this, it's never about themselves.
Yeah.
Never.
Right.
You really have to twist a mom's arm to do something for herself. You give her money, she spends it on the kids. My wife does it. Give my wife money, she buys Kevin something, she'll buy Casey something. We haven't seen them in almost 2 months now. We bring packages over to their house, like she one time them stuff over. We bring stuff over to the house, so I give her money, she's spending it on herself. Not on herself, she's spending it on the kids. I'll give her money for Christmas, she spends money, and that's my easy way of gifting. Here, I'm giving you a gift certificate that's good anywhere. $100 bill, you can spend it anywhere. Hey, it's not like a card that limits you to one place, or whatever. You give somebody that good old, that green and white certificate with a picture of Ben or Ulysses or even Andrew on it, and that's good anywhere. Not to do with that, that's another story. But anyhow, they spend it on somebody else. When you're having dinner, I know, we have dinner at my mom's house. My mom never sits down and eats. She's up in the kitchen all the time. She's making sure everybody else is taken care of. Honey, do you need this? Honey, do you need that? Do you need this? Even now, my mom's close to 80, and she will be up in the kitchen taking care of everybody. The very last person she considers is herself. It's always us, grandkids first, obviously. My dad's second, and the kids are in there too. But we're all taken care of. We're all taken care of. But the idea is that when she does this work, she works hard with us on behalf of others. Even as you look at this right here, giveth meat to her household, portion to her maidens, all the things that she's doing. Not only is she looking at her kids or her husband, even the people that work for her, even the people that are there in her household, she is there to take care of them. And it's hard work to take care of all these people. So number one, a virtuous woman is trustworthy. You can trust her. She knows she's good. You can trust her to do what she's supposed to do and go above and beyond. Number two, she's a hard worker. Then, and again, you think about mom and all, and it used to be even more. I mean, when you rip your clothes, you just didn't go out and buy new ones, you'd be there, get the needle, and thread out, and sew something back together, even socks. Darn socks, and that's a verb, not an adjective. She's darning socks, I darn these socks. Darn socks, no, the sewing part. And now you go to Dollar Tree and buy a whole new pack of them.
Sure.
Usually everything used to fix. TVs, you get Martino's TV over, they put a new picture tube in. You rip your socks, you sew the socks up. You rip your shirt, you sew the shirt up. You get a stain on your shirt, try to get it out. If it doesn't get out, oh well, you're running around with a stain on your shirt. So you have to get it last night. Don't want to, whatever. But whatever the case might be, mom had to do all that.
Yeah.
That was mom's job, and she did it for everybody. Look if you will at verse 20. Number one, a virtuous woman is trustworthy. And by the way, these are qualities for everybody. It's not like, okay, well, I'm not a woman, I don't need to be trustworthy. No, the guy could be trustworthy too. A guy ought to be a hard worker. We're the one that should be going out by the sweat of our brow. We're the one, the stupid weed thing, you see on the back of the grass, is, the stupid weed thing we have to deal with, thorns and thistles and all that garbage. And number 3, verse 20, she has stretched out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. I mentioned this before, but number 3, she's giving. She's giving. Not only to her family, but just anyone.
Sure.
Any need that she can fill, she will. And that's really one of the best qualities of any person, is being a filler. To be somebody that sees a need and fills that need. To be somebody that sees somebody that has a need, and even at the point of self-sacrificing, do what you can to fill that need, realizing that, and this is true again for all of us, what God has given us is really given us the ability to be a help and blessing to other people. When you do business with somebody, really, you ought not be, there are people who think, well, I'm a Christian, he's a Christian, you ought to give me a discount on this. Well, guess what? His bills aren't going to be any less because he's a Christian and he's giving you a deal. I think you ought to treat me right if you're a Christian. I think you ought to do the best service and stand behind your work. But you know what? I want to be a blessing to this person. I expect to get a job done, but I will do what I can. Even now these days, if you can tip a little bit, you can get something, tip a little bit more to help the people that are working there, that are losing money at a hand over fist because of what's going on. Doing what you can to be a blessing to other people. Buying something for them, giving to certain whatever. But you're giving, you have what you've got. Again, the idea of self-sacrificing, of this giving. She sees the poor, and doesn't see right there, she stretches out her hand to the poor, and she's got it. No, she's, whatever the situation might be, she's giving. And there are just some people that will give you everything they got and will do without. Again, that's what a mom does. A mom gives you everything and has very little. A mom doesn't consider what she has. A mom will go ahead and see that need. If it's a child, if it's a grandchild, if it's somebody, in this case right here, she sees the poor. And doesn't know who these people are. And yet she knows that, you think of the idea, I really think a lot of us think this way, the idea of reaping and sowing.
Sure.
I'm going to give to others, give it, it shall be given unto you. And, it's going to come back another. Now, look, I don't give, saying, all right, no, God, where's mine?
Sure.
I give because it's my job, it's my privilege or ability to be able to give to somebody else. And I'm just going to trust God to take care of me. And if God uses somebody to help me out, like He used me to help somebody else out, somebody else will get a blessing from helping me, and I get a blessing from helping somebody else. But I don't look at that end of it. I just get to be used to be a blessing to somebody. And I hate to say it, one of the things that's lacking in this world today, almost more than anything, is gratitude. And a lot of times, if you're not going to get gratitude, you're going to get, all right, now where's more? I gave you something, you gave me something, well, you give me it, you gave me it yesterday, why not today? And they do a lot of people today. What have you done for me lately? But the idea is you give because you see a need there and you give. So somebody, a virtuous woman is trustworthy. A virtuous woman is a hard worker. A virtuous woman is a generous giver. She's not selfish. She's not looking at her own needs. Look, if you will, in verse 26. She openeth her mouth with wisdom. and her tongue is the law of kindness. A virtuous woman is somebody that will edify others, that is a blessing to others, and what she says is a blessing, not to tear people down. Now, I gotta admit this, there are ladies out there, and God bless them, that will say what they need to say to you, not because they're being mean, it's because they just are being honest with you. Some moms are like that. My mother's totally like that. My mom used to be very meek and quiet, and now she'll tell you anything you see. She's lost, and I'm starting to understand how that works, because the older you get, the filter goes, more on your mouth goes more and more. I'm learning that. That you just get to a certain point, like, you know what, whatever, I'm going to tell you whatever. But, you're edifying. So tell you what she thinks, not just because she's trying to make a point, but because she's trying to help you. And to be a blessing to other people. There's this ladies that that are just encouraging. And, moms do that. You go strike out, mom is yelling, that's okay, honey, you'll be okay. Dad's like, why did you take that second strike? It was right down the middle. What's wrong with you? We've got to tell them what they've done wrong. I was coaching ball back in college. This is right after another lady invented baseball. I was helping one of my college professors coach his baseball. I played baseball in high school. I played ball for years. Loved baseball. And so I'm working with this kid. He's not the son of the professor that I was working with, but the son of another professor. And this kid struck out. And I'm just trying to, very gently criticize him. So you can't look at that, you're swinging, and the guy comes up and said, you really ought to be more encouraging instead of more critical, and less critical. But how do you learn? That's our attitude. If I'm not telling you what you're doing wrong, you're learning. I am guilty, and I hope my kid doesn't watch this, because you might not even remember this. My kid does not like sports. Never played, Tony, never played sports. When he was little, growing up, he's got a cousin, who, just coincidentally enough, has to be my nephew. Who knew? Small world. Has a cousin that is awesome in sports. Great hockey player, great baseball player. We used to call him Jeter. That's how good he was. We called him Jeter. And my nephew and my son were on the same team. And I shouldn't even say this because my mother killed me with this happened. And I was just young, all right? I was only in my 20s. I was dumb back then. Let me just preface it by this. I'm a lot dumber now, but at least I know how to hide it better. My nephew got the MVP for the team. He was that good. I mean, it was like a little kid. So my nephew gets the MVP, and my son started crying that my nephew got the MVP trophy, and he didn't. And I told my son, well, son, if you didn't stink so much, you might have gotten that. Yeah. I am still in the doghouse from that with my mother 20-something years later. I still get killed for that. My mother heard me, and she was standing there. My mom was there, my wife, my sister-in-law, my brother. My mom heard me say that to my son. Honestly, it looks to kill. Forget that. I mean, I just about got out of there with my life, and literally. But yeah, I mean, they're encouraging. Honey, that's okay, or you did good, or you did fine. That was a great catch. You go out, and you lose the game. Oh, you made such a good catch out there. Well, we lost. I don't care. Your dad's like, if you would have just done this, maybe that. And that's the way guys are. We are just, we're not with our daughters now. With your little girl, it's like, honey, you can go there and stink all you want. I still love you. Your son does that. Well, that's a whole different thing. But they're encouraging, they're edifying, they're a blessing to people. Not just even in the kind words that you get, the blessings that you hear people talking to one another, and how encouraging and a blessing they are to each other. That is the typical virtuous woman, somebody that will edify with their tongue. It's something we all ought to do, unless your kid's not doing baseball. It's something we all ought to do. But look at you in verse 27. Let me give you two more things here. Look at verse 27. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. With a virtuous woman, her family is always her top priority. It's always that. again, with God, we have the habit sometimes of our life becomes our job.
Sure.
And it's because that's where we spend the most time. I don't see my kids, I mean, I go to work and come home and, you know, we've all worked 2 jobs sometimes when you're hardly home at all because you have extra bills to pay, and you're barely home, or you're picking up overtime and everything. That's how you show that your family is your top priority, that I will work myself to the point of being exhausted or sick, so that I can take care of my family. But while we're doing that, mom is home doing her thing. And mom is filling the void of what you want to be doing. You know, mom's out there mowing the lawn. So the kid can do it, and then get his carcass out there. Mom's out there doing your job too, because you're trying to do your job. Your job is to take care of the family. And if you've got to work those extra hours, well, mom has to fill the gap. And it's not like this stuff's not going to get done. Mom will take care of it. But mom's top priority is the family, with her husband, with the kids. That is, you know, again, all of this stuff ties together. The fact that the mom's priority is the family, therefore you can trust her because that's just your job. Because mom will work hard, why? Because her family's number one with her. Mom will be generous, why? Because her family's number one with her. Mom will be a blessing, why? Because your job is number one there. Well, mom will edify, why? Because her job, you know, her family is number one, and a lot of times she has to comfort the kid after dad says something stupid. But her family is her top priority. Her family is the one that is the center of her life. Her kids are everything. And dads are good, but it's moms that you buy it. My mom had a bracelet that had our names on it, on a heart, and then on the other side of it had our birthday on it. And my mom wore that, still got it, wore it for years because that was her kids. We were her life, the 4 of us, the 4 knuckleheads. Her 4 sons and my dad, her 5th kid. We were her life, and she wore that on her wrist. And so everybody saw that her kids' names, and they saw, you know, back in the day when we didn't have pictures on cell phones, we actually had to carry literal pictures. You know, whips out the wallet, and here's the, you know, the pictures coming out. You know, today, hey, you want to see the pictures? I'll go ahead and I'll text them to you. It used to be the fun of sitting down, hey, let me take the pictures out and show you. And my dad had those too. My dad had pictures of us in his wallet and all that, a couple things. But mom would pull up a lot of pictures like that. Hey, we went here and we did it. The only more fun to that was the old home movies. When you got the projector out and showed the movies, I remember that when I was a kid. I mean, you know, Glen Park was burned to the ground back in 70-something. My mom's got all these films of us at Glen Park. Or Fun and Games Park over at 290, where Young Street is by the 290. That closed down just 40 years ago. We used to go there, and my mom had all the video, pictures, the movies of that. Well, they would always have the pictures and whip them out. You know, they said, it's not fun today. I'm going to show you on my phone. Now, the pictures out. You go to what was that? Photoland. Yeah. And you bring the pictures in, you pick them up. You guys did when I worked at Rite Aid, one of my part-time jobs that I was teaching, they showed me how to do the picture development. That was cool. That was one of my favorite things. They bring their film in, you had to do it a certain way, you get the pictures out and all that stuff. That was fun. But that was the good old day with the pictures and all that stuff. But and mom had everything. You know, mom had the pictures of the kids everywhere, pictures of the kids in the wallets. You know, they had the Pandora bracelets now, but even before that, you had the kids' names on there or a charm with your kid's picture. That's her life. Everything to a mom centers around her family. But all of it comes down to this. You can look at all that, but there's one distinctive thing that sets mom aside, and that's verse 30. Look at verse 30 if you will. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. There's a lot of women that have these qualities. And that is great. There's a lot of women that are trustworthy. A lot of moms that are hard workers. A lot of moms that are generous. A lot of moms that are a blessing. A lot of moms that are edifying. A lot of moms that family is number one, numero uno. But the one thing that distinguishes this woman away from is this. She's godly. She's a godly mom. You know, that is the one thing that really separates a virtuous woman from the rest. She has all these qualities, but she's a woman that fears the Lord. Yeah. She does all these things, but, she remembers too that, and people say, who, the top priority is her fear of God. And they say, well, there are people that fear God so much, how does that, doesn't that take your attention away from your family? Or does that make you less of a wife or less of a mother? No, it makes you more of one. Because you know the expectations that God has for a mom and that God has for a wife. And because of that, and that you want to please your God, you fear the Lord, you want to please Him, and so therefore that makes you a better mom, that makes you a better wife, that makes you a better grandma, that makes you a better, makes you a virtuous woman, because you fear the Lord and want to please Him more than anything. So if you fear God, your family's going to be top priority. If you fear God, you're going to be the wife that God wants you to be. If you fear God, everything, and that goes with anything in life. As a husband, as a father, as a preacher, as anything, it's my fear of God that makes me better at what I do, because I know that God has expectations for me as a husband, as a father, as a preacher, as a boss, and as whatever I'm doing. God has expectations for me, and because I fear Him, I will do that. That works with anything. As a preacher in a church, as somebody, I met, as somebody in government. If you fear God, you're going to be the right civil servant you ought to be, and not do what you ought not to do, because you fear God. And quote the old Hebrew National Freight commercial, you answer to a higher authority. Yeah. And so right there, the thing that sets aside a virtuous woman is that she fears God. She's got her Bible out, praying for you, praying for her kids, and nothing, all these women, pray for my son, pray for my daughter, my son's not saved, my son is a preacher and he's going through this, my daughter is experiencing this. Mom, her number one is to pray for my kids. Yeah. And one, will read the Word of God and pray for them and teach them the Bible. One hymn I wish we did this morning, and my mother's Bible. There's a dear and precious book, and I forgot the rest of the words. Well, if you've ever heard that, if you guys pick the hymns, I have, whatever you do, that's fine with me. Well, that one hymn for Mother's Day, precious book, blessed book, it's your same pages I prefer, I would love the Lord. That gets sweet. I forgot the words of it. But you think of my mother's Bible, and it's mom that as we grow up, it's mom that dad will read with you and pray with you all that, but it's mom that is there to go ahead and teach and help, and you learn you learn from her example that this is what a Christian is. This is what a godly person is you look at your mom and learn the example from that. A virtuous woman is truly hard to find, by all means. A virtuous woman, somebody who's trustworthy, somebody who works hard, somebody that's generous, somebody that's a blessing, somebody that edifies, somebody that her family is her top priority, and all that is wrapped around by the fact that she fears God. And the fact that she wants to please God makes her the mom and the wife that God wants her to be. You can never say enough things about mom. You can never say enough things about what mom has done for you and all the blessings she's been for you. But as you read this right here in the virtuous woman, we all go back to think of examples of our mom or our wife and what she does for our kids, or what my mom or what your mom did for you. And you can't help but be blessed. Call mom today, tell you love her. Sneak over there and bring her something, whatever. All this craziness, it's hard to do something like you want to do, but you know what? Just don't forget mom today. And it's be a blessing to her, because she's serving a blessing to us. Father, thank you, Lord, for your love for us. Thank you for our moms today, Lord. And as we go through the checklist of the virtuous woman here, and Lord, many of us think about the memories we have about our moms, maybe our wives, Lord, and what they've done for us. And for our kids, Lord, help us, Father, to be a blessing to mom. And bless the moms that are out there, Lord. I think all the ladies in our church, Lord, I can't think of one that does not fit the qualifications, or that as you go through this checklist, you can't think of a lady in our church and not see all of this in their lives, Father. Thank you for them. Bless them. And just bless us today, Lord, to be with us, Father, keep us healthy, keep us safe, and bring us back, Lord, to hear your word preached again, Lord, Wednesday night, in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, thank you.